Hey everyone, welcome to Lilac 10, where once a month I make my own top 10 lists on something anime related. Hello April, us otaku have been expecting you, and all of the new anime you bring along for the ride. Today I'm going to be talking about my top 10 most anticipated anime of the spring 2014 season, and unlike my Impressions series, this does include spin-offs, second seasons, and everything in between. Let's get started. Kicking off my list in at number 10 is one of the latest series from one of my favorite studios, Madhouse. The Irregular at Magic High School is about, you guessed it, a magical high school. Add in a genius girl and her talentless older brother and you have this anime. This series just makes the cut thanks to some of the recent trailers that have been released along with the basic summary. Now to be fair, anime about magic hasn't been doing very well for me in the past few seasons, but I'm hoping this one will fix that. The one thing I am worried about though is by the end of one of the trailers I watched recently, I was thinking in my head, please let there not be incest. If I could speak Japanese, that would probably be solved very easily, so The Irregular at Magic High School still remains on this list. Last season, I decided to give another anime genre a little try, and although Sakura Trick didn't make it through my impressions, it did open the door for another Yuri series that I'm interested in. In at number 9 is Riddle Story of Devil. This series is about 12 assassins who are all after the same target, and as you expect, nothing goes according to plan because one of the assassins actually falls in love with the target. Riddle Story just seems like an interesting premise to me, and I just want to see where it goes. Add the lovely trailer to it, and my interest keeps growing. Though I do have my worries, like I always do, director Kaizo Kusakawa concerns me a little bit because his previous works include Campone and Sekirei. I'm still going to be optimistic about this series. As long as there's not huge amounts of fanservice, I think we'll be okay. I like comedies. I'm not just into shows that have deeper meanings, but with the variety of shows this season that are comedies, it's hard for me to find one to get excited about. Enter Comic Artist and Assistants. This short series from Studio Zex is about a manga artist who's trying to understand his written characters a little bit better, and his assistant who helps him in the most odd of ways. Incoming shenanigans! This series is just so cute and adorable that I don't mind giving it a try. And since these aren't full-length episodes, it makes watching it fun and easier to do. And this also gives me a proper introduction into newcomer director Takashi Furuta, whose only other credit has been assistant director for last season's Nobunaga. So, as you can tell, I'm pretty interested to see where this goes. NEET seems to be a popular trend this season, and 2 of them are making my list. First off at number 7 is No Game No Life. Another Studio Madhouse work. This story is another brother-sister duo, except this time their NEETs set into an alternate world in order to play games. But these aren't ordinary games, because these games govern the world. Premise alone has me interested, but having a fun trailer helps too. Not only that, we have another relative newcomer to the directing scene, Atsuko Ishizuka, whose previous works include Suki no Waltz, Supernatural the Animation, and The Pet Girl Sakura Show. When I looked at this list initially and saw this next series, it was actually one of the few that I kept in mind for the past several months. Mekaku City Actors is about another NEET who after 2 years gets something stolen from him and he has to, you guessed it, go out into the world. Shaft is the group responsible for the series, and that means, you also guessed it, we have another Shimbo work on our hands. I've seen Madoka Magica previously and some of last season's Nizukoi, so I have a general idea of his work. But not much else can be said about this series, and the trailers don't really help much either, so I'm basically going into this one blind. Will this be a good thing or a bad thing? We'll have to see, won't we? What would you do if the person you want to be friends with won't be able to be friends with you for more than a week because then they forget everything? Well, that's what Studio Brainspace is going to have fun with this season with my number 5 anticipated series, 1 Week Friends. The first thing I noticed about this series was the studio attached and the promotional image. Granted, I still can't get over amnesia, but I haven't given up hope because studios can sometimes make hiccups. Mix in the trailer for this series and complete directing newcomer Tauro Iwasaki, and you have this series. This just looks way too adorable to not watch, and I'm hoping for something fun here. Bones has been coming out strong this year. First, Space Dandy and Noragami came and became 2 of the most popular shows of the winter season. Now here comes spring season and we have 3 Bones series on our hands. But which one made this list? That would be the spin-off series, Soul Eater Not. This time, we follow 3 girls in a different class at Death Meister Academy as they try and work their way into the elite class that Soul Eater previously followed. Right now, I'm just really excited to get back into this world and see all the familiar things. Not only that, but we may get appearances from the original Soul Eater cast, so that's always exciting. The one thing that is actually more of a surprise rather than a worry is we have a different director than the original. Masakazu Hashimoto is going to have a lot of pressure on his hands to make Soul Eater Not a success. But with previous credits including director of Tari Tari and episode director of at least 7 episodes of the original Fullmetal Alchemist, I'm not too worried. Science fiction has always been a weaker genre for me personally. Granted, I have seen some good come out of it, but it's always been one of those niche areas that I have a hard time getting into. Luckily, I may be able to start fixing that this season because my number 3 pick, Brynhildr in the Darkness, actually looks really good, and it's from Studio Arms no less. Brynhildr is about a boy who meets a girl who looks exactly like his childhood friend who passed away, but the girl is a magic user who escaped from a research lab. The premise alone sounds really good and has a mix of genres in there, not just sci-fi, and is probably the reason why I'm really interested in this series. The trailer also looks nice and simple and has drawn my attention even further. Include the success of last year's Mao, another Studio Arms work, along with the director of Hitman Reborn and episodes of Mushi-Shi, and you have a nice mix to work with. In case you didn't know this about me by now, I'm gonna spell it out for you. I love all things horror, mystery, and psychological. I love Higurashi, I love monster, I love paranoia agent. It's the one genre I seem to get the most fun out of. And I'm glad to say that this season I may get my fill of that genre as Selector Infected WIXOSS comes in as my number 2. This series is about a group of girls who are forced to play a card game that they are selected for based on their emotions such as hope, desire, and greed. When I first saw the preview Funimation put out after they announced the licensing of the series, I became hooked. This series has the potential to become my season favorite this time around, and I can't wait to see what Selector Infected has in store. Not to mention director Takeo Sato's attachment to the series. I loved Say I Love You, and I have yet to see Steins Gate, but I feel like I will like Selector Infected. It would have to do something really bad and really mess that up for me. Out of all of the anime this coming season, which one is my most anticipated? It's a lot simpler than you think. But then again, when you're dealing with little creatures that are nearly invisible to the human eye, it becomes a little bit more complicated. That's right, my number 1 most anticipated anime this season is Mushi-Shi sequel chapter. Mushi-Shi is one of those unique experiences that I enjoyed immensely, and at the time, the idea of a second season seemed so far away. Cut to the recent OVA episode a few months ago and the announcement of a second season, and you have Mushi fans going insane. I'm looking forward to heading back to this beautiful yet terrifying world and joining Ginkgo once more. And I'm not the only one. As of this video, Mushi-Shi sequel chapter has been licensed by Aniplex of America. Okay. Aniplex, you really need to stop crushing my hopes and dreams and by taking shows that I want to see others have. I'll be okay with this. As long as A, I can get the show for a decent price, and B, you bring Travis Willingham back as Ginkgo. That's all I want. Don't make this worse for me. Well, those are my 10 most anticipated anime of the spring 2014 season. Which ones are you looking forward to? Let me know in the comments below. Also, spring impressions do start this week, so head on over to Lilac Anime Reviews every Tuesday and Thursday for the next 3 weeks as I start off with 24 new anime series and try to narrow it down to a smaller amount. If you could like this video, subscribe to my channel, and check out the blog for everything else I've done. That would be awesome. And until next time, otaku on, my friends.